What's up, everyone? It's me, Jake Jax, inside my W210 E55 AMG. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm kind of far away, and I don't have an actual microphone on me, so we'll see how this goes. I actually have to re-record this, so yeah. So about the car, I picked this up about 9 months ago, the beginning of 2019, and I wasn't actually looking for an AMG. I was driving down the freeway on the way to work, and then I seen a W210 E55 just like this, but he had like quad exhaust and all this stuff, and I'm like, you know what, that actually looks pretty damn good. So I went on Craigslist immediately after that, like when I got to work, and started looking at W210s. Well, I wasn't even looking at W210s, I was just looking at AMGs in general. Anyways, I found this one, went ahead and checked it out, and it was actually pretty good. It did have a lot of miles, had 189,000 miles, I believe, or 190. But me and a friend checked it out, and he's into AMGs. I mean, he's into Mercedes as well, and he liked it. There's really not much wrong with it, apart from cosmetic issues, like the front bumper, and had the clear coat peeling, and there's a dent on the quarter panel. It was a pretty gnarly sized dent. But I was like, you know, it's whatever. I can try and fix that whenever time comes. It doesn't really bother me. Got him down a bit on the price and got this car for a really good deal, I'd like to say, for a W210 E55 AMG. So here we are. I've driven it a lot. I've driven 16,000 miles on it in a period of almost 9 months. And so far, the only thing I've had to replace is the conductor plate. There was a period where my transmission was just feeling funky and it was throwing codes all the time, so I went ahead and replaced that. But apart from that, she's been good. This is the W210 version, so it's not W211 with the supercharger and all that jazz. This one just has a 113, which is like the E430, but everything inside has been changed. It has hotter cans, been stroked out, different pistons and rods, I believe. So it's a totally different M1. It's like a, I guess, built M113, and I believe higher compression as well. It's a 5.4 liter V8. The acceleration is great. Has a lot of torque, and it's not that heavy. I mean, considering all newer cars today, I believe it weighs like 3,500 pounds. So has bigger brakes, lowered suspension. I believe they tweaked the suspension just a little bit. Stiffer sway bars, if I'm not mistaken. Comes factory with a lot of stuff that would have been additional options in the non-AMG, like heated seats, the window shade, which is pretty cool. Oh, I gotta hold it. There you go. Ooh, fancy. Still works. Apart from that, interior wise, there's a tear on the driver's seat, and that's pretty much it. And so far she's been good to me. I did have to replace the battery, but I mean that's just, you know, normal, usual stuff that you replace on a car that has 207,000 miles. So this car is very close to reaching the moon. I believe the moon is like 230,000 or some odd miles away. So she's up there. But she's good. We're going to the right place. On the way home. Oh shit. Got a little bit. Spun a little bit there. Shit. Woo. This car will put a smile on your face. I mean, it doesn't have the supercharger, but it's a lot lighter than W211, so it's still pretty fun. Which is enough for me. I have the E36, you know, if I want to really have fun. And that's cool. I love this car. This is pretty similar, I guess you would say, to an E39 M5. I believe back in the day, this and the E39 M5 were sort of like I guess, competitors, but I feel like it's more like apples to oranges. BMW, I always felt like, is more of a driver focus oriented car, while this one's more like a, you know, it's more comfortable, but it still has that power. It's like more of like a better daily driver. I mean, I don't know. It's up to opinion, really, which one you prefer most. The M5 has a manual transmission, a 6-speed manual transmission, which this one does not. This one has a slush box, automatic, which is really slow. When you shift gears, it likes to think for a second first before it decides to shift the gear. It's just like, you know, you're just going along, and then you decide to nail it. It's like, and then, oh, I need to shift. Let me think about it. Let me have a cup of coffee first. Okay, shift, and it shifts, and it's so slow. I feel like if this had a manual transmission, this would probably be a lot more sought after than it is right now. But if it was, then I probably wouldn't even have this car, because it wouldn't have been such a good deal. Considering the M113 puts out, this M113 variant at least puts out 340 horsepower roundabout and 390 torque. So it's pretty torquey and has some good horsepower numbers, especially for the time, late 90s, early 2000s. So, as you can see, it gets up and goes. I had to look around first, make sure there was no cops. Apart from that, the V8 sounds great. I did have to delete the mufflers and the catalytic converters. It was a little too quiet for me, personally. I just wanted to hear the V8. From factory, it was super quiet. Like, it was probably quieter than my CLK that I had, which had a 3.2 liter V6. And that's just not correct. I want to hear the car. And, you know, this is back at a time where super saloons are more subdued. They weren't really shouty at, you know, saying that they're a super saloon compared to today. Nowadays, when you see an M car or an AMG car, you immediately know that it's an AMG, because there's AMG badges, like 20 of them around the car. So I feel like this one looks a little bit more, I guess, subdued and handsome, if that makes sense, which I like. At first, I wasn't really much of a 4-door person. I love my 2 doors. I really like the CLK. I wish I had the AMG version of it. Ooh, that's nice. It's like a normal RT, but with like the wide body. But I grew to love the W210. It just grew on me. And this one, you know, this car is kind of overshadowed because of the W211. And I feel like it's still a great car, considering it doesn't have many of the problems and frills that the W211 has, like the air suspension, all those different kind of modules that you have in W211 that this car doesn't have. And, you know, this car is just so basic, which is, I like personally. Coming from an E36, the E36 is super basic. Like, you know, it's so easy to work on, in my opinion. But if you're looking to buy one of these, I think one of the things I'd look out for is rust. W210s are pretty known to rust around certain areas, especially around the sunroof. Mine actually has some, unfortunately. So that's one thing you'd have to look out for. And this is a car from Texas. So, and as far as I know, it's been in Texas its whole life. And I think there's something in the factory that they did, and they didn't, I don't know, paint it that well, or their primer wasn't really that good. I'll get around to it eventually. So I rarely even use a sunroof. I wish it didn't even come with a sunroof. You know, it's the perfect daily driver. It's really comfy. Oh, here's some bends. It's the only 2 bends in Texas. And there's a car in front of me. Fun fact, the headers and catalytic converters on this car and the E430 are the same. So, headers for sure. I'm not entirely sure about the catalytic converters, so if you were to purchase headers for this, it'd be a great improvement for what it has stock. Oh man, everyone's house here got flooded. Jesus, that sucks. I don't know if y'all watched the news. Texas got hit by a tropical storm, Melba, and brought in like 40 inches of rain, or 47. I don't know what the exact amount is, but it's a lot. I don't know where to turn now. I think I'm lost. If you're coming from an E430 and you're looking to purchase this car, purchase an upgrade, I would say go for it. These things are so cheap nowadays that it's worth it. The gas mileage is pretty much the same anyway. I drive 80 miles a day, and I average about 19 miles to the gallon. But yeah, I really believe if they had a manual transmission in this car, this would be an amazing, an awesome car. There's a guy or two that have swapped in a transmission from the 6-cylinder version. I believe the SLKs and the Crossfires came with a manual transmission, some of them, and it's a direct bolt-on. Of course, you have to bring in the pedal box and all that stuff. I would love to do that one, someday, but I'd have to buy another daily at that point first, unless I had all the parts laid out in front of me and do it on a weekend. But I think that pretty much concludes the review. I'm going to try to do more of these. I want to do my brother's car. Yeah, he has a GTR, and I think that'll be pretty interesting to review. But I don't know, it's just nice sharing my information to the world, and it's just really another pastime hobby of mine amongst the many other hobbies I have. So I'm sure everyone can relate. So I think that's pretty much it. Cliff notes: buy an E55 AMG W210 if you're looking for one, as long as it's clean, doesn't have any rust, and it's been well maintained. Conductor plate, rust, valve cover gaskets, power steering pump, mass airflow sensor. Those are the usuals, I think. But that's pretty much it, really. So, buy one. It'll be worth it. Doug DeMuro had one, and he has a blog about it, and even he said that's one of the cars he regretted the most selling. So that's coming from Doug DeMuro, who has driven like hundreds of nice ass cars. So anyways, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys next time.
But I'm not done yet.